Welcome to the Michael Singer podcast, presented by Sounds True, in partnership with Shanti Publications. For more information about Michael Singer's work, access to all prior episodes, and information about upcoming releases, we invite you to join us at michaelsingerpodcast.com.
Jagrative, Jai Masters. Mind is such an important major part of one's spiritual journey. Some people think that you have to get rid of mind. The mind is an obstacle to your spiritual growth. That's like saying you have to get rid of your body, because your body is an obstacle to spiritual growth. You have to get rid of your heart, because your heart's an obstacle to spiritual growth. It's not true that the mind is an obstacle to spiritual growth. It's how you use your mind. It's how you use your heart. It's how you use your body. That's what makes the difference. So let's start. What is mind? You are not your mind. You are aware that your mind creates thoughts. You are aware of your thoughts. You know you have thoughts. Everyone knows they have thoughts. How do you know you have thoughts? You don't have to be a genius. Because I'm in here, and there are thoughts going on in here. There, that's good enough. You don't need a treatise on mind. You don't need anything like that. Are you in there? Yes or no? Do you notice the thoughts in there? Yes or no? All right. Who notices that there are thoughts in there? Obviously, you who notices there are thoughts is not the thoughts. The thoughts are something you're noticing. If you don't get that, you're not going anywhere. You stay stuck in your mind. Because the mind's going to create thoughts. You're going to say, that's me. No, it's not you. You're aware of it. Well, aren't there some thoughts that are me? There are no thoughts that are you. Aren't there some clouds that are me? There are no clouds that are you. But that one looks a little bit like me. It's not you. Why? Because you're looking at it. You're the one who sees your thoughts. You're the one who hears your thoughts. You're the one that's aware there are thoughts. There's no thought. But what if it says, I don't like this? Then you watch it say, I don't like this. Somebody heard it say, I don't like this. We're talking about that voice in the head, the untethered soul. Is there a voice in your head talking to you? How do you know? Because I'm in there. I'm conscious. That's who you are. You are the consciousness that is aware that there are thoughts, that is aware there are emotions, that is aware that you have senses and the world comes in through your senses. That's who you are. That's who you've always been. You will never not be that. But you are aware of your thoughts. It's not so complicated. It's not mystical. It's not spiritual. It's just the truth. There are thoughts going on in there, and you are aware of those thoughts. Like, here's a car. There's no car that's you, but that's mine. I don't care. It's not you. You are the subject, and it's an object. The car is an object. A house is an object. Your husband's an object. No, yes, it's something you're aware of. If he disappears, will you know he's gone? The same you who knew he was there will know he's gone. You are just the consciousness that is aware of what you're aware of. Thoughts are objects. All thoughts are objects. But I love her so much. Okay, very good. I don't like her anymore. Very good. Same you heard both of those thoughts. And same you who felt both those emotions. You don't change. You're the consciousness, the awareness, just like a light shines on an object. Let's say the object turns green. The light is shining on it. Let's say the object is broken. The light is shining on it. Let's say somebody comes and fixes the object. The light is shining on it. That light did not change one single iota, no matter what the object went through. That's why they call it the light of consciousness, because that's what consciousness is most like in your world. It's like a light shining on something. It is awareness shining on the object of awareness. So if the object of the thought changes from I like her to I don't like her, you didn't change. What you were looking at changed. To grow spiritually, you have to get this. You have to understand this. And why is it complicated? It's just the truth. I don't need to prove it with science or this or the other thing. You need living proof. You're in there. Are you in there? Yes. Do you have thoughts? Yes. How do you know? There, I'm done. You can go home. I'm serious. That's deep enough. Are you in there? Yes. Do you have thoughts? Yes. How do you know? That's the deepest meditation. That's the deepest state you can go to. You who knows about the thought is what it's about. What's the problem? The problem is you can't be centered, clear in that state we just talked about. Well, I'm in here and there's thoughts. When certain thoughts pass through your mind, you get lost in them. You get pulled into them. They have a power that pulls you out of your seat of consciousness, your center of awareness, your witness consciousness, call it whatever you want, your objective observation, and it pulls you into the thought. And thoughts are very powerful, aren't they? Some thoughts, not all thoughts. Have you ever noticed that sometimes your mind sings songs for you? You heard a song on the radio and all day it goes on inside your mind. How do you know that? You tell somebody, the song went on all day. How do you know? Because I'm in there. But that song not bothering you. Unless it's the song that was the last dance you had with your girlfriend or boyfriend when they broke up with you, and that song just keeps going on in your head, and now you don't like that at all, do you? It's just an object. It's something you're aware of. So what is mind? Mind is a place in the universe that thoughts exist and can be created, can't they? They pop up like waves in an ocean. Are there waves in an ocean? Are they the ocean? Yes. They're no different than the ocean. So mind can create wavelets, which are thoughts. And you're in there aware of that. And if you were capable of being in there aware of that, you would be an enlightened being. But let's get that straight right away. What does that mean? If you don't get pulled down into your thoughts, then you don't get pulled down into your thoughts. Well, then what? Then you stay seated in the seat of consciousness, naturally. Not meditating, not pranayama, not yoga, not anything, all right? Effortlessly. If you don't get pulled out of your seat of consciousness, then you don't get pulled out of your seat of consciousness. Then what happens? Then you remain in your seat of consciousness. What's it like to remain in your seat of consciousness? You want to find out, I assure you. Consciousness is not neutral. Consciousness is ecstasy. Consciousness is God. Consciousness is the highest thing in the universe. Everything else is something you're conscious of. Consciousness itself is the beginning and the end of all things. So if you're not pulled out of your seat of consciousness, you very naturally remain in a seat that's aware that I'm in here. That's all. I'm just in here. Nothing that's going on in here is pulling me out of that centered, it's called being centered, established in the seat of consciousness, call it whatever you want, established in the seat of self. Why do they call it self? Because that is yourself. You're not what you look at, you're the one who's looking. That's your soul. That is the core of your being. Everything else is something you're aware of. Everything, all objects in the universe are the same. They're objects in the universe. A girl, a boy, a baby, an old person, a car, a building, they're all the same. They're objects of consciousness. It's something the light is shining on. Well, if I change what it's shining on, the light didn't change. You're never what you're looking at. You're the one who's looking. You're never the one that's the thought. You're the ones aware of the thought. Okay, let's finish it off. I usually do it at the end. What happens if you don't get pulled down into your mind? You don't get pulled down into your mind. Well, then where are you? I told you, you want to find that out. You want to find out where and who you are when you don't get pulled down into your mind. And that's the state. You are now subject and there's no object. It can be there. There can be objects. They don't pull you down. There's all kinds of objects in this world that don't pull you into them. White lines in the road, clouds going by, thousands and millions of trees you're driven by. They don't pull your consciousness into them. You're aware of them, but they don't pull you down. They don't change your focus. So when nothing changes your focus, when you are established in a seat of consciousness and you're not getting pulled down, you're going to find out some very great secrets. Yes, there's a force that's pulling you down. You get distracted and pulled down into your thoughts and emotions. When you are not getting pulled down, there is a force pulling you up. There is a force pulling you up. Most people never experience it. They don't know anything about it because they're too lost in what's pulling them down. When that doesn't happen anymore, there's just this force that's just pulling your consciousness up into it. Where? From behind you. Everything else is in front of you. When you look, you're looking in front of you. your eyes. When you look at your thoughts, you're looking down at your thoughts. You don't realize that because you got pulled down into them. Well, if you're into them, then you don't know you got pulled down. If you're in the ocean drowning, you don't know where you are. You're drowning. Okay? If you get pulled down, if your consciousness gets pulled down into your thoughts and emotions, when I say thoughts, it might as well be emotions. I'll just combine them together. Okay, I'm going to focus on thoughts today. When you get pulled down into your thoughts, then that's where you are. So you don't feel any sense of position, right? I'm in my thought. I'm lost in this thought. How's that? Is it north or south or west or down or up? It makes no sense. When you get out, when it's not pulling you down, your thoughts are something you look down at. You get a sense of position. You're back here, and you're looking at something that is down there, okay? And it pulls you down. Your emotions are exactly the same. You can feel an emotion start, can't you? You know you're going to get angry. You get it? You feel it rumbling down there, not back here. You don't feel it rumbling back here. You feel it, and you feel your heart. Where's your heart? Back here? No, it's over here. How do you know? Because you feel your emotions come out of your heart. There is a sense of position in there, just like there's a sense of position out here. But you don't feel it regularly because you get pulled down into it. Then you don't know what's going on. You don't have that sense of centered, all right? But when you're not being pulled down, then you're seated back here. You have to think about it. That's where you are. And then what happens is when you spend enough time there and you don't get pulled down, you start noticing subtly at first and then much stronger that there's something behind you. You're always looking, even if you've managed to establish in the seat of self, you notice your thoughts. You notice, I'm not getting lost in them, but I notice them. I can let them go. How's that? I teach you to let go of your thoughts, right? Where are you when you let go of your thoughts? You're back here, but I'm letting go of my thoughts. When it's not pulling you down enough, you start noticing there's something behind you. You never look behind you. You're busy looking in front of you. God, if you get that, do you understand that? So you've narrowed your focus down to what you're looking at. But when that doesn't happen, you'll realize there's a whole universe behind you. There's a whole, literally, a whole universe behind you. You are expanded infinite consciousness staring at a point. You focused on your thoughts, on your emotions, on your body, and what's coming through your senses. You limited the focus of your awareness to you. That's what you're staring at, your thoughts, your emotions, and what's coming in through your senses and your body, okay? And that got you kind of trapped, eh? You're addicted to that. But that's not your limited consciousness. Someone who's addicted to drugs, their whole life, drugs or alcohol, their whole life centered around that. Is that true? Well, that's what they're focusing on. That's what they're paying attention to. Then that becomes their life. Well, that's what's happened to self. It is staring at your thoughts, your emotions, your body, and what's coming in through your senses. That's a very small part of the world, not to mention part of the universe. How small? OMG. Can't even talk about it. It's so tiny. It's not even worth talking about. But that's where you live, is it not? That's where you live. What do I want? What do I not want? What do I like? What don't I like? How do I get what I want? How do I avoid what I don't want? Why doesn't she love me? Why does she like going out with him? Me, I, mine. I, me, mine. I, me, mine. I, me, mine. I, me, mine. Everything. 100%. Your whole life. Okay? That consciousness is infinite consciousness. Infinite universal consciousness. One consciousness staring at one point. Consciousness can focus on something, can't it? It can pay attention. You can focus on things. Now, what you're doing is focusing on yourself. What happens when you're not doing that? Then you're not focusing on yourself. Then all of a sudden you realize, oh, I'm back here. I'm not down there. And then I'm telling you, start to feel a force pulling you up back into your source. Now we talk about what is consciousness. What's the source of consciousness? Where did you come from? You in there? You in there? Where'd you come from? Well, when you get pulled up, it's pulling you back into your source. And the more you let go, and the more you're not addicted to staring at your stuff, the more it pulls you up. And you start to realize something about consciousness. It's not neutral. It's ecstatic. In the Hindu scriptures, they give a name to consciousness. Sat Chit Ananda. Eternal conscious ecstasy. That's who you are. Every single second of your existence. What you are back there is eternal conscious ecstasy. All right? An enlightened being, that's what it means, an enlightened being has let go enough to realize who they are. They're self-realized, as the master called it, self-realization. They're self-realized. They realize the nature of self, and what happens, it pulls you back enough, and it's ecstatic. And Ramdas once said, you get to a point where you realize that nothing coming in from the outside is as beautiful as what's already going on inside of you. Now you're ready. What did Christ say? Man does not live by bread alone, but by every word that leaveth the mouth of God. A yogi knows what that means. That's your direct experience. You're not just getting your stuff, your joy, your meaning of life out of what's coming in from outside. There's something going on inside. And what's going on inside is ecstatic. It's unbelievable. And that's who you are. So we're talking about mind. What is mind? Mind is a vibration rate in the universe. It's not physical. It's not made of atoms. It's just a very, very high vibration rate in the universe that is capable of manifesting, holding, creating thoughts. All right, what is a thought? I swear to you, it's exactly like a wave in the ocean. Mind is the ocean. It could be completely calm with no waves. Could be. Good luck. It could be completely calm with no waves. Or there can be some waves. It's still the ocean. It's just waves in the ocean. That's what thoughts are in your mind. They're the substance of mind creating these waves, creating these forms. And every single thought's exactly the same if you can handle it. So what's wrong with mind? Why do they teach you to try and stop your mind? Why does meditation and yoga and Buddhism and all this stuff talk about how bad mind is? Well, your problem is mind. Because the thoughts that mind creates, and mind's not evil. No more than air is evil or the ocean is evil. Mind is completely neutral. It's a vibration rate in the universe. Well, why does it create the thoughts it creates? Most people don't ever ask that question because they think they are the thought that got created, and now they want to figure out what to do about it. My thoughts, I'm not happy. I don't like my job. I don't like this. I don't like how he's treating me. I don't understand what's going on. I don't understand what he meant. What did he mean? I wonder what he meant. And you're in there. You're just in there all the time. Yes or no? All right? It's like, that's who I am. I'm these thoughts. No, you're not. Right? So where do the thoughts come from? Why does the mind create the thoughts it creates? Because every single one of you, the answer is exactly the same. I know we like to think we're different, and our thoughts are completely different. But the reason the thoughts are the way they are is exactly the same for every single human being, for every single thought. All right? The natural state of mind is peace. It's quiet. Ramakrishna, the great master, said, the purified mind is no different than the self. The purified mind, the mind without thoughts. A pure mind doesn't mean it doesn't swear. Let's get that straight. Okay? A purified mind is the ocean still. There's no thoughts being created. It's pure. The purified mind is no different than the self. Why? Because if you're looking at something that's the reflection of you, like a mirror, if you're looking in the mirror in the ocean, it looks very different than the waves and turmoil, correct? So you see yourself. So when the mind becomes still, the self, one, doesn't get sucked into it, but it's like they merge. It's the same. There's no difference. Okay? So basically, it's not that way. Why is it not that way? Why do I have the thoughts I have when I have them? Whoa. That's a good question. Not how do I stop them? Why do you have the thoughts you have? It's very simple. Have you ever had a thought or an event? Let's start with event. Has an event ever happened outside that came in through your senses that you in there were not comfortable with? Yes or no? Okay. What did you do with that? So that came in, it created a thought and an emotion, a vibration. It's natural. If you drop a leaf in the water, it's going to make ripples. If something comes in from outside and it drops into the inside, that's what happens, isn't it? It comes in, it drops in, it's going to make ripples. Okay? There's going to be a ripple that got created as it passes through. But then the ripple will go away. If you don't like and can't handle the ripple, it's not comfortable to you. Instead of teaching you, I should ask you, what do you do? What is your natural reaction when something comes inside that you're not comfortable with? You push it away. You don't want to experience it. Do you understand that? You do it all the time with all kinds of things, big things, little things. Somebody doesn't say hello to you. They walk by. Well, you push it away. What you do is you're in there. The consciousness is in there. It has power. You have willpower. Where does it come from? Can you move things around in there? Can you push thoughts away? Can you hold on to them? Can you create them? Can you willfully do things inside yourself? Yes or no? Where does will come from? It comes from consciousness. It comes from the infinite source that you are. When you focus on something, you have concentrated energy onto that. Just like when you hold a magnifying glass, it's out. It magnifies the sun. It focuses down. It can start fires. Okay? When your consciousness focuses on something, it brings power with it. That's what your will is. So that if a thought comes in, somebody comes in, a ripple comes in, it's not comfortable. Most of them come in, they go right through. Just like leaves in the wall in the water. Vibration stops. Okay? They naturally make it through. Almost every single thing you experience makes it right through. I told you, white lines in the road, they don't make a big mess in there. Trees, people you don't know. 99.9% of every single thing that ever comes into your senses makes it right through. Okay? That 0.1% is a booger. Why? It comes in, it makes the vibration, and you don't want to experience it. So you do the funniest thing in the world. I don't want to experience this, so I'll focus on it. But really what it does is pull your focus onto it. All right? It pulls your focus onto it. You've just asserted will onto that, and I don't want to feel it. And what it really means, I hope you understand this, you're back here. You don't know it. I hope you do, but you don't know. You're back here. It has to come in through your senses and work its way all the way back through your heart, through your mind, and then pass into you, like pour into you, like the rivers into the ocean. There's pour in there. But I don't want this to pour in there. I don't like it. I'm not going to let it come back there. You know there's a back there. Every one of you at some point in your life, though very few, have let something all the way in. There's just an intimate moment of love and you melt. You do not resist one single iota. Have you ever had that experience? And then what happens, the experience waves over you. It's so beautiful. Your eyes are closed. You can't even open your eyes. Do you understand it? No way. You're lost. And the sunset can do that, can't it? You're driving and all of a sudden you turn the car. Oh my God, it's gorgeous magenta colors and so on. And it just melts you. You melt. You say things like, oh my God, it touched me to the depth of my being. That's exactly what happened. You guys are deeper than you think you are. It touched you to the depth of your being. It went all the way back there. There was no resistance. It's beautiful, isn't it? Music can do that, can't it? Can you melt into a song? Can you lose yourself in music? There, is it beautiful? It's passing all the way through. But if you don't like the music, okay? So you have the ability, you have will, you have the ability to resist or to accept. By the way, when you're accepting, truly what I talked about, when it touched you to the depth of your being, you didn't do that. Okay, I'm going to let this touch me to the depth. That means you stopped it. You already stopped it. But it's so powerful when it comes in. It's so beautiful. It melts you. So there's no resistance. You don't have to come down to meet it. You allow it to come up into you. Beautiful. Those are those sacred moments in life. And so basically, you're open. You're open. But it's not like you're open. You just don't close. Open is your natural state. It's not like I have to be open. No, you have to not close. And if you don't close, it comes all the way in. And it touches you to the depth of your being. But you don't do that. If you don't like the vibration that comes in, if it's not comfortable to you, it draws your consciousness down to it, and then you resist it. You resist it. You do it all day with all kinds of things. And you've done it your whole life. All of Freudian psychology is about the fact that you did that as a child. Mommy. All right? How was your relation with your mother? Did they take your blankie away too soon? 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago. You couldn't handle what came in, and you pushed it away. You resisted it. And it's still in there, isn't it? Does it ever come back up? Can somebody say something, all of a sudden you feel it rumble down there? Can somebody really say something, and all of a sudden it really comes back up, and you're freaked out? Yes or no? Can stuff that happened to you in the past that was uncomfortable freak you out 20 years later? Okay, that's because you stored it in there. You pushed it away. The waves were created in mind. because of the leaf from the outside dropped in, and you couldn't handle those. And so you pushed them away. By pushing them away, you stored them. That's the most important thing you will ever learn on your spiritual journey. You did this. Mommy didn't do this. She did what she did when she did it, but that was 20, 30 years ago. The fact that it's still in there, mommy died a long time ago. And not your first boyfriend. That's gone since 5th grade. That dumped you. But still in there, isn't it? Still in there. Things remind you of it. You get scared. You have trouble with relationships. Am I telling the truth? I got the right crowd here? That's why. Because you stored it. So that these wavelets will naturally pass through mind and come back and merge into self. That's what it's meant to be. That's where an enlightened being is. Completely open, can handle every single vibration that ever takes place. It comes in, it passes through. They don't not experience it. Maybe the heart hurts. Maybe the mind says something. But it passes right through. I told you, Ramakrishna was once asked, does an enlightened being ever feel anger? He said yes, but it's like riding on water. What happens when you write on water? It's gone. What difference does it make when you write on water? Nothing. The moment your finger passes by, it's gone. That's what it means. The world comes in, passes through, leaves you as it found you. Clear, centered. Okay? That's enlightenment. That's what it means, that you've reached that state that you don't have to play around with your human stuff. It's there, but it passes right through. So now you stay in a higher state and you can bring down beautiful. That's a whole other talk. All right? Beings who are centered in that state, like Buddha, Christ, they change the world. Right? If you hang out with somebody that's higher, you get higher. It raises you. So, but we can't do that. So let's not talk about that. Why? Because the vibrations come in, they're not comfortable, and there's this instinctual, immediate reaction of push it away. Keep it out of my face. That ain't coming back in here. Maybe your hug is, but not what you just said. That ain't coming back in here. Okay? Right or wrong? How fast can it shift? How fast can it shift from completely open, blissed out, to, what did you say? A billionth of a second. Because you closed. You're doing that. You closed. So when you push it away, you create what's called a samskara, a pattern that's stored inside of you. Okay, now we're going to start storing these things. Now I got a whole bunch of them in there. Where do they go? Freud said subconscious. You know, it doesn't be all the way down to your subconscious or repression or suppression. It can just be resistance. Tiniest little thing. You say hello to somebody and they're busy. And they don't pay as much attention to you as you wanted to. Does it hurt you? The tiniest little thing. Somebody says something, but they're the way they said it. They said the right thing. Here, I love you. Oh, God, I love you so much. I'm just melting in your arms. Yeah, I love you too. Whoa. He said he loved you. You see what I'm saying? It's very sensitive, isn't it? It shifts in a billionth of a second. That is your attempt to protect yourself from these energies that are uncomfortable to you from coming in. Every single time you do that, you store those. Like if somebody did that with you, he was just, I say he, it's usually him that says it like that, all right? But I shouldn't be sexist like that. All right, so she says, yeah, I love you too. I'm telling you, next time you're in those arms, you don't say I love you. Because you don't want to go through that pain of hearing I love you too. It's still in there. You stored it in there. It may stay in there. You may never open to him or her again at the level that you were able to. It hurts you. You hurt me. That's what's happening. So you've now stored this stuff in your mind. You stored this stuff, actually lower down in your energy system. You stored all this stuff. That is why your thoughts are the way they are. They are not your thoughts. They are energy trying to pass through your being, but hitting all that stuff that you stored in there. So that's why you don't like things, because you've had situations in your life and it reminds you of them. No, I'm never going to eat at a restaurant ever again. Why? You used to say you liked it. You said it was your favorite restaurant. Yeah, but it's where we used to eat before we got divorced. That's what's happening. That's why you like things. That's why you don't like things. It just hits your stuff. What does? The energy I talked to you about that comes in and brings you up is always trying to come up. Nothing you've ever done will ever stop it. It's always trying to come up. But it hits that stuff you stored in there. Those are your blockages. So you stored that stuff in there. Now energy can't come up. So you get depressed. Or energy's fickle. If somebody says exactly the right thing to you, all of a sudden you feel good because you open. Somebody says something that's not exactly right, you feel bad because you closed. And what you're opening and closing about is this stuff you stored in there. How much have you stored in there? Let's see. How many stars are in the sky? It's not just the big stuff. You do it all the time. It's hot. It's hot. I don't know if I like living in Florida. I want to move. All of a sudden your thoughts are all about that. It's just you store stuff. I don't know what to tell you. You store every single thing in there. Okay? I asked you once. Let's say you go to a restaurant and the food is just not good. Maybe it's bad. I don't know. It just makes you sick. You don't feel well. You know what you do? Call the waiter or waitress over. Say, excuse me, could you please bring me a doggy bag? And you take it home and you put it in this room. It's called the sick room. And every single morning you go in there and you taste a little bit. Never forget how sick it made you. If you don't do that, you might forget and eat it again. So you better test it out and check it out so that you know what not to do. Right? And now you're sick. So you stored inside of you everything that ever bothered you. Why'd you do that? To make sure it doesn't bother me again. You don't get it. You stored it in there. It's going to bother you all the time. If you store every single thing that ever disturbed you inside of you, what's it going to be like in there? Disturbed. Don't you have to try to work to make it be okay? Don't you try to make everything be the way it wants it to be so that you can get things okay? Otherwise, it's disturbed. Okay? That's because you stored disturbance inside of you. So basically, now that's why your thoughts come up the way they do in your mind when they do. It's very complicated in there. It's unbelievable. You know, they all mush together. It's like a virus. You stored a computer virus inside down there. Who the heck knows how it's coming back up? It could be anything. All right. So basically, it creates waves because the energy comes in. I'm telling you, the energy comes in. It hits that stuff. Well, what happens if you put a rock in a flowing stream? It makes eddies and currents and sprays and all kinds of things, doesn't it? Okay, well, these things are rocks in your energy flow, period. So play all you want with all your chakras and this and that and all kinds of stuff. Just be aware. While that stuff's down there, you ain't getting there, period. Okay? Because what you're trying to do is, once it already made the mess, what do? Breathe. Good. I mean, I'm not telling you not to do this, by the way. Okay? Just get it. Breathe, do your mantra, do some yoga, run, do something, call a girlfriend, do something that now the energy's messed up. What do I need to do to make it feel okay? Fair enough? I say, spend your life. Why is the energy messed up? The energy's not messed up. The energy's beautiful. It's Shakti. It's spirit. It's Chi. The energy's coming up and it hits your stuff. And that causes your mind to get disturbed because it's emanating the disturbed energy. That's why the energy is disturbed. Everyone wants to figure out, my energy is disturbed. What should I do? No. Why is your energy disturbed? That's the deep spiritual question. Why is your energy disturbed? Because I'm telling you, it isn't. It's beautiful, but it's hitting your stuff. And by the time I drop all these leaves and rocks and boulders into the water, it ain't never settling down. There's too much stuff down there. So you have to decide in your life, do you want to sit there and compensate for the stuff you have down there, or do you want to get rid of the stuff you have down there so that you can naturally feel ecstasy all the time and you are capable of that, okay? As opposed to trying to figure out what to do about the fact that I'm not okay. Fine, and I'm not telling you you're going to live your life the way you're living it, but at least put some energy into understanding there's a reason you're not okay. I'm lonely. I don't feel comfortable. I just feel totally alone and lost. What do? Go find somebody. Go move somewhere. No. Why are you lonely? And it's not true that you're lonely because you don't have somebody. That's your attempt to compensate for the fact that you're lonely. I'm scared. I'm just scared all the time. Oh my God, you don't have bars on the windows. No, that's not why you're scared. That's your attempt to compensate for the fact that you're scared. You're trying to compensate for the fact that there's a mess in there. That's not why it's a mess. I'm bored. I'm not enthused by anything. I need to find something that enthuses me. No, you're blocked. That's why you're bored, because the energy is not flowing freely inside of you. If it's flowing freely inside of you, you're not blocked. You're enthused by every single thing, everything in your life. Oh my God, can I do the dishes tonight? But you did them last night. Yeah, but I'll do them again. Can I take the garbage out? Can I clean the toilets? Like, it's not that you didn't find something to inspire you. You're blocked. That's why you're not inspired. If you clear those blockages, you're always inspired. Mother Teresa used to go and see the lepers. Oh, wasn't she selfless? That's not why she went. She went because she loved going. She loved them and she loved going. And there was meaning of her life. Well, you're that also. You have that going on inside of you all the time. Tremendous enthusiasm, tremendous inspiration all the time about everything. Well, why don't I feel it? Because you're blocked. You've blocked your energy flow. So like I said, you have a choice. You either spend your entire life trying to find something that compensates for the fact that you're blocked, or get rid of the blockages. And that's when the mind becomes naturally still. Okay? Now, should the mind be still? Is there anything wrong with thoughts? There's nothing wrong with thoughts. You have a beautiful mind. It's a computer. You have a mind that can think. You have a mind that can create. You have a mind that can build airplanes. You have a mind that build rocket ships. You have a mind that build AI. You build computers. My God, you have a phenomenal mind. All of you. The human mind is phenomenal. Look what it's done. You understand that? God, it's like animals have been here for millions and millions and millions of years. And guess what? The world looked pretty much exactly the same over those millions of years. The monkeys live in trees. The dolphins live in the water. You guys come down here. Will you look at this place? There's giant office buildings and computers and networks and cell phones and all kinds of things, right or wrong. The human mind did that. Are you human? Do you have a mind? Then you have a human mind. It's brilliant. The question is not that, what are you doing with it? I told you, now we're going to talk about, there's a thing called personal mind and impersonal mind. You've heard those terms, right? It's not true. There's just mind. The question is, what are you doing with it? Like a computer. A computer can run a recipe program. It can run a finance program. It can do all kinds of stuff. It's still just a computer. You're just running different programs inside of it. The personal mind is mind on you. Every single thing you suppressed in there is personal. I don't know why you got upset what mommy did. I don't know anything about it. It's your personal stuff. Every single thing you stored in there is a personal experience you had that you couldn't handle, so you stored it. That's what's in there, your personal stuff. That's the personal mind. That's what makes the personal mind. Now it comes up, and all it talks about is me. All it talks about what do I want, what do I not want, how do I get it, how do I avoid it, why does she do that to me, this shouldn't be like this, I mean mine. That's because it's hitting your stuff that you stored. The impersonal mind is not running that program. Same mind, but it's not running that program. It's not focused on you because you can't handle the stuff that's coming up. Now it's free. It's free to do math. It's free to create. It's free to do art. It's free to do music. It's free to do every single thing. It's free to fly to the moon. It's unbelievable how beautiful your mind is. The impersonal mind, the intellectual mind, the abstract mind, the creative mind, call it whatever you want, not the personal mind. The personal mind is a serious problem. That's when they tell you got to get rid of mind. When Christ says you have to die to be reborn, he means of the personal mind. You have to let go of the I. You have to let go of yourself, focusing on yourself, and then all of a sudden it expands out tremendously. All right. So now you understand the impersonal mind. That's the clear mind. That's what your mind was meant for. God gave you a mind. God gave you a brilliant mind. You think the computer's great? You made it. NVIDIA is making these beautiful chips, for AI. Is unbelievable. Who made the chip? The human mind. That's what was given to you. Wow. That's serious. You're getting ready to go to Mars. Wow. You have a brilliant mind. That's what it's meant for. But it fell into the I. It fell into the personal mind. So now you understand mind. Mind is pure. Mind is beautiful. Mind is a computer, an empty computer, brilliant computer, cray computer, the most brilliant. It's not doing anything. Now what do you want to do with it? You have all this power, all this beauty, and you're free. You're free. The soul is free to use it any way it wants. But it gets pulled down because you stored this stuff. If you didn't store that stuff, or if you get rid of that stuff, then it's not going to do that. It's not going to pull you down. It's going to let you ascend and pull you back up. So now you understand mind. Now you understand the personal mind and the impersonal mind. Well, what do I do about it? One really beautiful thing to do about your personal mind, right, is to shift your consciousness to your impersonal mind. I give it to you all the time, and people write me that it works. You're on a planet. Did you ever think about that? How often during the day do you think I'm on a planet? I do it all the time. I train my mind all the time. Everything I do, I'm on this little planet, spinning around a little dark, empty space. So where's the problem? There's none. Where's the beef? There's no beef. I told you. What'd you do today? A 360? I don't know what you guys did. I did a 360. What'd you do this year? Oh, a big 360. Around what? Around a star. So you sat on a planet spinning around a star. Where's the problem? There isn't any. It's been doing it for 4.5 billion years. That planet has been spinning around that star. How long have you been here? How long are you going to be here? 80, 90, 100? You can't land on the most beautiful planet. We haven't found anything even close. You understand that? We got the Hubble, the Webb telescope. They ain't seen nothing like this planet. There's just dust and gas and dirt and rocks. And I know it's true, but I read it again this morning, right? We have not found anything in this universe yet that has life on it. Any form of life. Not an amoeba, not a protozoa, nothing. And we've looked out thousands and millions of light years everywhere as we send satellites up with nothing, no sign of life. Right? Is there any sign of life on Earth? You have landed on the most beautiful planet. It's not even close. It's not fair. It's like 700 billion, zillion, quillion, trillion to zero. How you doing? Oh, how you doing? Right? That's because you didn't handle reality. You didn't handle the events that unfolded in front of you on this amazing planet. For the few years you're spending here, you suffered. And that's why Buddha said all life is suffering. That's what Buddha taught, first noble truth. All life is suffering. Why are you suffering? Because you couldn't handle reality. And you stored it inside, what you couldn't handle. And now you struggle to try and make it be okay. It is what it is. It is his life. It's the planet spinning around nowhere, everywhere. There's 8.3 billion people on the planet Earth, and you only care about one. No, I care about my child. Oh, there's that word. I care about my house, care about my job. And somehow it's all about you, isn't it? Do you understand that? Okay? So basically, you got lost. Well, use your intellectual mind to wake up. So you wake up and you put your consciousness on a higher place than you. How? 1.3 million Earths fit inside the sun. Just take a second. 1.3 million is a pretty big number. 1.3 million Earths fit inside the sun. That's one star out there. And your planet, if it transits, is like a little black dot. And you can't handle it? You can't handle coming down here? Have a good old time. There's lots of things to do. Computers, people, relationships, babies. Oh, there's so many things to do here. Have a good time. You're going to die. Don't worry, you don't have to stay. It's like summer camp. Who goes to camp and not have a good time? Who goes to Disney World and suffers? Earth is God's idea of Disney World. There's all kinds of things going on. There's computer world, there's relationship world, there's this world, that world. There's all kinds of worlds here. Why can't you have a good time? I told you why. Because you got caught in your personal mind. You can use your intellectual mind to sit there and say, I can handle reality. Ever said, I can't handle this? How about we start saying, I can handle this? Why? Because it happened. It's reality. This is what happened. I can handle it. If you do that, you're going to shift from your personal mind to your impersonal mind. And you're going to start having space. And you start being able to handle things. Somebody said something to you that I didn't like. You said, fine, you had a bad day. Neutralize it. Use your higher mind to let go. Because you don't want to store. I showed you, storing this stuff's a problem, isn't it? Storing this stuff caused the whole problem. Your mind and your heart are the way they are instead of in ecstasy, instead of with God, because of that stuff you stored in there. You want to store more? Okay, then don't. Neutralize it. Work with it. Work with letting go. Okay? So you can use your intellectual mind that way. The other way, and then I'll stop, 1.3 million Earths fit inside the sun. The sun is a star. You don't remember that, do you? The sun is a star. How many stars are there in the Milky Way galaxy? The estimate is 300 billion. And you're circling around one. How can you have a problem? And that's your galaxy. They estimate now there are 2 trillion galaxies, all with hundreds of billions of stars. And you can't handle a day? You can't handle an hour. You can't. You cannot handle an hour without getting bothered. Am I telling the truth? Okay, you got some work to do. You got some work to do because it's all due to this stuff you stored. So I do it real quick. So what's the technique? You all want techniques. Here's the technique. Wake up in the morning and say, I can handle the day. I'm not going to store any more stuff down there today. Okay? Good luck. All right? But you wake up in the morning, and it's like a video game. You get to play. But now your goal isn't get a corner office or make some more money or get a good relationship. It's, can I handle what unfolds in front of me on this little planet today? And I said, I'm gonna, and I'm gonna. Then you go out there and you see how difficult it is. The car in front of you is not driving the way you want. Can you handle the moments unfolding in front of you on this tiny little planet, middle of nowhere, meaningless? If it all blew up, no one in the rest of the universe would know anything about it. A couple of planets would change their orbit a little bit, Mars or Jupiter, and nothing else would even know it was ever here. You hear me? So basically, then you go through the day and you do your best to let go. You do your best to handle. Have a fun. I want you to have fun. Have fun. Have fun handling reality. And at the end of the day, sit down and say, how did I do? All right, don't get guilty. Don't grade. Just say, okay, is there something I need to let go of that I didn't let go of? Neutralize. It's called neutralizing it. Well, Sally didn't say hello when I said hello to her, but she sure paid a lot of attention to Mary. Okay? That's still going on in there, right? Okay. Let it go. Find a way to let it go. You see yourself spinning on a planet of nowhere, caring what Mary did with Sally, right? You can do that. You can raise your consciousness by raising your thought patterns. It's called neutralizing. And let go. And you do it because you don't want that stuff in there. You don't want next time you see Sally, you don't want to talk to her. Next time you see Mary, you feel jealous. Don't do that. Start handling things, and then you can handle bigger things. And the punchline is this. When you can handle the day and don't put more in there, the old stuff starts coming up. Oh, by the way, that's a warning. Skull and crossbones. That doesn't mean you did something wrong. That's wonderful. It's what we call, in those of you who study business, right? A LIFO stack. Last in, first out. So when you shove this stuff down there now, the old stuff can't come up. You have to get rid of the surface level stuff first. When you stop putting stuff down there, I'm telling you, the old stuff will start coming up naturally. Because you learn to handle the little stuff during a day, when the old stuff starts coming up, you'll find you can handle it better. And you'll find you want to handle it better because you find I'm much happier because I didn't screw myself up all day. Now I'm going to be happier if this stuff's not in there. And that's a whole thing I want you to understand. If that stuff's not in there, you want to be there when that stuff's not in there. Okay, I guarantee you right now, the ecstasy and joy that's flowing inside of you, the relationship with God, not you believe in God, that's absurd. You're literally experiencing it so strongly that you can't even see straight. That's what it means. And then you start merging and, oh my God. And then everyone you meet and everything that happens to you, you're raising it. It's like, you're a great being. You're a very great being. But you stored this garbage in there. So that's your spiritual growth. That's your technique. There's your technique. All day, every day, let go. Just try to let go, let go. What if I can't? No, then you fall down again. It's fine. I encourage you to get up. Start seeing the problems. And you just eventually just get higher and higher. I want that every morning you wake up, you're higher than you were the day before when you woke up. You're freer. You're filled with more love. You're filled with more knowledge and depth and understanding because you let go the best you could all day. All right. So now you understand mind? Now I've used, notice, I used pure mind, intellectual mind, to raise lower mind. And then eventually that mind doesn't have to do anything. The Shakti takes over, pulls you in. Jagrata.
You've been listening to the Michael Singer Podcast, produced by Sounds True in partnership with Shanti Publications. For more information on Michael's body of work and all back episodes, please join us at michaelsingerpodcast.com. Thanks so much for listening. Sounds True, waking up the world.